coming into this weekend. As the 5-second board is shown, the red lights are on already, and they go out. Away we go. Pretty good start by Pete Morgan from pole position. Good start as well by Chris Deere from the second row of the grid, and he's already squeezed up the inside of the XR2i of Martin Kayser on the run down to Hatchett's hairpin, and Chris Deere trying to go around the outside of Pete Morgan into the hairpin. Martin Kayser getting back up the inside as well in the XR2i. He may have done it. That's the number 12 James Hazelhurst Peugeot that was a retirement yesterday. That got a little bit wide out there as well. He's trying to go around the outside of number 90 Finn Groom, who was off the circuit at Dibeni yesterday, bringing out the red flags. Good to see that car is patched up, plenty of tank tape in evidence, and back out into the race today. But it was a good start there by Pete Morgan. He's got the lead of the race. Martin Kayser got second place back at Hatchett's though. Yeah,
Great start as well from Robert Campbell and Chris Deere in the two yellow Peugeot 206s though, to be 205s to be up to that level for third and fourth position, and being chased down by the third of the Fiestas. Then there's a bit of a gap back to a repaired Finn Groom car. So they're all piling out of the right-hander at Brooklands, but an electric start again for Pete Morgan, attempting to stretch his legs in the blue and yellow Fiesta from Martin Kayser's newer shape Ford behind.
Yep, it's the XR2, the carburetted car of Pete Morgan, leading the injected car of Kayser in second place. A bit further back, Finn Groom I think is in trouble. He's not at full speed, I can see, past our commentary box, so we'll keep an eye on that one. The first four go through Hatchett's in the same order as they were at the beginning of the lap, to say Pete Morgan leading, Martin Kayser second, Chris Deere third, and Robert Campbell in fourth position. But we'll keep an eye on Finn Groom. He crossed the line at the end of lap one in 8th place. He started in 7th, which was actually net 5th with a couple of absentees, so he is heading in the wrong direction generally, as we're watching the battle for second, which is already really developing because Pete Morgan getting away a little bit.
Yeah, so Kayser needing to hang on to Pete's coattails where possible. Speaking to Martin yesterday, he reckoned in the wet conditions, had he managed to get ahead of Pete Morgan, he might have been able to head away from him in the lead of the race, but that's not necessarily the story today. Drier track, Pete Morgan's car maybe had some tweaks overnight, and definitely Martin Kayser peering more into his door mirrors than out of the windscreen, because the pressure is on from Chris Deere, a podium finisher yesterday, bringing Robert Campbell with him in the similar car.
Chris Deere looking to the right, then to the left as they head down the Cowell Straight towards Hatchett's hairpin. The two of them alongside, but Kayser, well, either later or more effective on the brakes, and he holds the position into Hatchett's hairpin. But a good exit there from the 46 car of Chris Deere. He tries to get the car along the inside and sneak up the inside into Spitfires. That didn't really work though, and it actually cost him probably a few lengths in the end. He's back into the clutches of Robert Campbell in fourth place in the number 47 car. A driving standards flag going out to number 92, which is Rick Groom, I can see.
Over the crossing, the second place fight goes. Chris Deere to the outside at the centre S's, looking to maybe wrong foot Martin Kayser, but he's been around the block a little bit too much to fall for that. Into the right-hander at the Brooklands hairpin, putting the car right in the middle of the road. Just in the background, Richard Kelsall's XR2i getting slightly larger, so can he attach himself onto this three-car train at this stage for second position? Pete Morgan loving this in the early stages, romping away to, well, by the end of this lap, it should be a full second clear.
On the last lap, it was Robert Campbell in fourth place who did the best lap of the race, and therefore took the new lap record of 1:11.43. Previously that was 1:12.71 for the multiple champion Lee Scott, a record that stood since 2011. As we now watch Chris Deere do really what he did on the previous lap to Martin Kayser. This time I don't think he's going to attack into Spitfires as he did last time. I think he's learned from that. Pete Morgan's now got the lap record. In fact, Titch Kelsall a bit further on down the order has gone even faster. 1:11 dead for him. So he's now in fifth position and got that lap record.
Paul Thorpe trying to stay with Titch Kelsall in this opening phase of the race. It's side by side to the crossing again. Chris Deere likes that part of the racetrack, always quick through the long lingering left-hander, but needing to attack and defend at the same time, wary of where Robert Campbell's putting his car. Kelsall just creeping into shot there, and should make this a four-car train then for second position by the end of the lap. They're all being held up a little bit by Martin Kayser's car that doesn't seem to have the speed it carried yesterday. Change there for second.
Just proving that point, and just as you were saying it, Chris Deere through on the inside at Carter's, the very fast flat-out right-hander, now through the 90-degree Honda curve to end the lap. and they are making their way down the Cal Straight. So they've completed now 4 laps of the race. 2.15 seconds is the advantage for Pete Morgan. And now Titch Kelsall has just done another fastest lap of the race. He tried to go deep into the corner and around the outside of Robert Campbell, but that didn't really work out for him. He's still in 5th, but now it genuinely is a 4-car fight for 2nd place. He's going to have another go at Spitfires, and I think he may have done it. Yes, he has. It looks like he has gone through, so well done to Titch Kelsall, up to 4th place now at the expense of Robert Campbell.
I was probably throwing you a little bit there because I was shaking my head, but only because I couldn't believe he'd made the overtake. Not that he hadn't done it at all. Titch Kelsall round the outside of De Benny and towards the crossing to bag 4th spot then. And Martin Kayser, we know, has slipped to 3rd after Chris Deere pulled off a good manoeuvre just on the exit of Carter's curve. So all change really in this quartet, which is starting to spread out a little bit. Titch Kelsall, I think, has got more speed though in car 89 than Martin Kayser's 88. Just up the road, Kayser a little bit sideways there on the approach to Honda and is losing ground again.
Yeah, well, now you can shake your head in disbelief because of Martin Kayser's misfortune, because he's lost 2 places. I think he's definitely got a problem with the car. He's got the indicator on. He's going to pull off, I think, down at Hatchett's hairpin. So he's out of the race. The man who was 2nd yesterday, 3rd in the championship coming into this weekend, and indeed after yesterday's race, Martin Kayser looks like he's going to be out of it. So it's now Chris Deere 2nd, Titch Kelsall into a podium position, I think for the first time in his classic stock hatch career. Martin Kayser Robert Campbell now up to 4th place.
Remember, yesterday's race was a curtailed affair, an early checkered flag. It might have been a red and a checker, in fact. And Martin said to me that if it had continued to the full 15 minutes, he didn't feel like the car would have made the distance. And as he limped back to the paddock yesterday, a lot of smoke belching out from the car. He's pulled off entirely, though, now. Is that a repeat of yesterday's mechanical dramas? That we'll have to have tried to patch that up overnight, but maybe not enough. And speaking of patching up, Finn Groom's car, isn't it great to see that competing today after it had a big off just after the crossing, rather battered and tattered on the front right corner, but they've done a good job because it's now fighting the Vauxhall Nova. Is that Pete Oskerby just ahead?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
So good work from the All Groom Motorsport team to get Finn Groom back out into the race today. He's only 19. It's his first season of racing with the family. And having a good dice with Pete Oskerby in that PDC Nova, so good to see that. And Paul Thorpe now, he's made a move on Robert Campbell there, has he? Yes, he has, down at Hatchett's hairpin. So that was good, because Paul Thorpe's made quite a bit of time over the last couple of laps to get on terms with Campbell, and now up into 4th position. Can he chase down Titch Kelsall, who's about 2.5 seconds up the road? So
Paul in the older shaped XR2, and yes, getting ahead of Robert Campbell. So the 2nd of the Peugeot 205s slipping a spot, whereas Chris Deere is just about the fastest car out there, running in 2nd place, done the fastest lap of the race last time around. Into Brooklands, though, goes Paul Thorpe, new 4th place car. No immediate threat behind Robert Campbell from Jason Wood and James Hazelhurst. They're a bit further back.
Yeah, Paul Thorpe's been a past winner here at Pembrey. He's won a handful of races in his classic stock hatch career. Meanwhile, the 2 leaders are much closer together. On the previous lap, Chris Deere set the new lap record as he's done another one on lap 7 to get right with the leader. We're watching the Finn Groom and Pete Osby battle, but the leaders are pretty much together down at Hatchett's hairpin as well. It is still the same order between them, but that could change any moment. Here they are on screen now. Yes, because that gap was well over a second, and Chris Deere's just on 1 minute 10.2 to get the gap down to half a second. So very much race on here.
Yeah, Chris Deere had a quick car yesterday as well, and might have been able to gain even more positions than the 3rd he bagged yesterday in the shortened race. Well, sniffing a win here. Pete Morgan maybe wasn't entirely happy with his car's performance in yesterday's event, despite winning the race, and has his hands full now of the bright yellow Peugeot 205 GTI of Chris Deere. Fastest lap after fastest lap for Chris in 46, and good drive off Brooklands, but won't have a chance to overtake at Carter's.
These are the top 2 in the championship, separated by 17 points coming into this race. So if they finish 1-2 in the order Deere and then Morgan, Deere will just chip away, but still be quite a long way behind Morgan in the championship going into the next meeting, which is going to be at Snetterton at the end of July. But he does now, I think, have a genuine chance with 5 minutes or so to go of taking the victory. Morgan taking a very defensive line down into Hatchett's hairpin, so not really an opportunity for Deere there. He went fairly deep into the corner, didn't see if he lost any time as a result of that. But nice shot there of Morgan's number 8 car, and Deere is still there, but I just sense he lost a length or two there, Johnny.
Yeah, whether that was a slight error or in getting the power down coming out of Hatchets, but it's those small margins that can often break a toe in the respect of Pete Morgan. But this middle part of the lap really favours Chris Deere's car. He's shown so much speed coming out of Debeni and then over the crossing, and it seems to be more manoeuvrable, his car, at higher speed. Can't get close enough, though, in the braking area for Brooklands hairpin. And again, it's sort of even Stevens on the exit of there, but the closing part of the lap between Carter's and Honda definitely favours the Peugeot.
It does. Into Honda they go then, and very little to choose between them. Pete Morgan, very experienced racer, racing stock catch over the years, but Christian's got lots of experience as well. He's a former Metro champion and midgets in Europe as well, and I think he's getting alongside now the race leader. Is he the new race leader himself? Well, no, he's not quite, I don't think. Morgan on the brakes, stays ahead, but who gets the better exit from the corner? We'll find out in a minute. It looks like it's Morgan. We're watching second and third. Oh, and that's a change for third there. Was Paul Thorpe and Titch Kelso were dead heating over the line, and Thorpe has made that stick. So this is a really good drive here from Paul Thorpe to take third place. Excellent stuff from 11th on the grid.
You're right, though. It was absolutely to the 100th of a second, exactly the same race time to that point for Thorpe and Titch Kelso. And in the end, Thorpe getting the place then, the red Fiesta ahead. Meanwhile, Chris Deere, through one of his favourite parts of the circuit, a little bit wider on the approach to Brooklands there, I noticed, which means that puts him out onto the red and blue curbing to confirm Paul Thorpe's XR2 is now ahead then of Titch Kelso's injected version, the newer shape car. Chris Deere maybe to the outside this time at Honda, as there's only 3 minutes left on the clock, and Chris trying to carry that speed through to the end of the lap.
Yeah, so probably going to be 3 laps to go, and they're going to be pretty much dead heating over the line this time, aren't they? Let's have a look at the gap on our screens. 0.02, so not quite, but Deere it is that's got the advantage on the way in, and this time I think he has done it, although Morgan might get a better exit here. He's going to have the inside line for Spitfires, and he's done it. So it was a very, very short-lived lead that for Chris Deere. Only a matter of feet really before Morgan's got the place back at Spitfires, and wow. How's this one going to play out, do you think, Johnny? Now, is Chris Deere going to be able to make a move that sticks?
It's a super battle, isn't it? But he needs to be able to time the run so that he's ahead, obviously, at the finish line in a couple of laps' time. Again, he can't find a way by Pete's Fiesta on the run through centre S's. Into Brooklands they go again. And I notice Pete Morgan's car can just put the power down slightly better than the Peugeot on the exit here, but actually the 205 is closer than it has been all race. So to the outside now at Carter's. Can he get the overtake done on this very quick right-hander, or more importantly, the slingshot out of Honda, which might give him the lead just before they cross the line? This is where he needs to be strong in a lap or maybe 2 laps' time.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 2 laps, isn't it? Because there's 1 minute and 3/4 to go. A lap time is about 1 minute and 10 minutes and 11 seconds here, so they'll get 2 laps out of it. Deere again looking to make the move, but possibly he realises that the trick here is to just getting that run through Honda and just nose in front over the line. That might be his best chance of winning, even if he can't get ahead at any other part of the circuit. Paul Thorpe is about 4 seconds adrift in 3rd place, by the way. Still got Titch Kelso right behind him. Robert Campbell is 5th, and Jason Wood in the Nova up into 6th position as well. So he's going well. Look at that, 3-wheeling the Peugeot 205 through the crossing section was Chris Deere, not holding him up at all as he heads through the centre S's down towards Brooklands with a lap and a bit to go.
Every credit to Pete Morgan so far, though, to soak up all of this pressure. I don't think he's got the quicker of the 2 cars, but it's about where he's putting the Fiesta on the road to defend, but without kind of overly blocking, just not allowing Chris to turn in at the right point and to accelerate as well. This will be the crucial corner in a lap's time then to keep the Peugeot behind, and again an exemplary run through. No checkered flag this time. Can Chris Deere draw alongside? The gap between 3rd and 4th actually showing to extend, but here they go again.
Side by side into Hatchett's hairpin. It's Morgan in the Fiesta on the inside line. Deere on the outside. He'll try and get the cutback, but he don't think he has such good speed out of that hairpin as Pete Morgan in that XR2 does. It's great to see these classic hot hatches of the 80s and 90s doing battle, isn't it, around this Pembrey circuit. They always put on a great show, classic stock hatch, wherever they go. It's not been the biggest grid this weekend, but the racing has been absolutely superlative.
Again, Pete Morgan, where he's putting the car over the crossing and into the centre S's, means that Chris Deere can't take advantage of the slightly higher pace and speed that he can carry through that sequence of corners. They're into Brooklands for the final time, and Chris Deere wanting to put the power down earlier than he might be able to. A quick flick of the windscreen wiper there, I think, but that was more about the mud being chucked up from the leading Fiesta. Trying to draw alongside at Carter's and can just about make that stick, but has to carry the speed through Honda this final time.
He can't quite do it, I don't think. It's going to be Pete Morgan that comes through. Good speed coming off Honda, but the finish line is just too close to the Honda curve for him. So it is Pete Morgan that takes the win by 1800ths of a second, or 1500ths in fact, as the screen updates himself from Chris Deere. A great race and lots of respect it seemed between those two as well. It was a good clean race between them. Paul Thorpe, an excellent third place from him. He got 1.2 seconds ahead of Titch Kelsall in the end, and was actually slightly closing on the lead. As if it had been a 20-minute race, we could have had a 3-car fight for the victory. Titch Kelsall, number 89, was 4th. Jason Wood, 5th in the Nova, number 41. Then James Hazelhurst was 6th. That was a really excellent race, John. We've had some 3 cracking races already this morning.
Yeah,
it's not even 10 o'clock.
No, indeed. Still early, isn't it? And yeah, thoroughly good entertainment. So if you are here at Pembrey, hopefully you got here nice and early to witness the events we've had. Nice and clean, I think, is a great point from you as well, Ian.
Yeah, it certainly was. 8. Pete Morgan then took the win in the second and final Demon Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch race of the weekend. Just 1500ths of a second at the end of 13 laps between himself and number 46, Chris Deere. Third place went the way of number 40, Paul Thorpe. Then it was 89, Titch Kelsall, and 41, Jason Wood, rounding out the top 5. James Hazelhurst, better result from him today. He was 6th in number 12. 7th, number 39, Martin Rogers. Robert Campbell, 47, was 8th. Then Pete Osgerby, 58, 9th. And Finn Groom, reward for getting the car repaired with a top 10 finish. 11th was Rick Groom. Neil Dudman was 12th. And Martin Kayser, of course, sadly, having been disputing the lead with Pete Morgan, was a non-finisher. So as I say, the Demon Tweeks Yokohama Classic Stock Hatch Championship, that's going to continue at Snetterton at the end of July. Then they'll go to Brands Hatch in August, Cadwell Park in September. They'll complete their season of 7 double headers at Mallory Park in October. And there's sure to be some great racing between Pete Morgan and Chris Deere and others between now and the end of the year. Lots more racing still to come throughout the day here at Pembrey. Coming up next, we've got what should be another cracker, the Race Part 750 Formula Championship, and then low cost and historic 750 Formula Mighty Minis, the Gas Shocks 116 Trophy, and the Tagiwa Type R Trophy. It's going to be a cracking day's racing here at Pembrey, so do stay with us here on Alpha Live. And there'll be more 750 Motor Clubs meetings live streamed during the course of the season, so watch out for details of those in due course. But the next action from the 750 Motor Club will come at Brands Hatch in July. But let's head down to the pit lane now and hear from Josh Barrett.
So we're down here with the top 3 from the Classic Stock Hatch Championship after a great race that once again from Classic Stock Hatch, as Ian was saying, not the biggest grid, but a fantastic battle out front, and Pete Morgan had to work really hard for that win. Well done, Pete. I'll give you a winner's garland, but that wasn't the easiest race to win by the looks of it.
It was never going to be, to be quite honest with you. It just started going off towards the end, so it's just try and keep him behind. That's all I can do, really.
Guess it was pretty obvious you could see him catching in the middle of the race there.
Oh, he was coming. There was no two ways about that. Yeah, it's just a matter of just kids trying to stay in front as long as you can, really. Another couple of laps, I think I'd have been done for. But
at one point he got through, but you immediately got the place back.
yeah, I just got it back at the hairpin. He just overshot a little bit, which just gave me a bit to get back, really. But after that, he'd have to have gone over the top of me to get past.
Well done on your win. Let's catch up with Chris. Chris, it was close a few times there, but you couldn't quite do it.
I think I got in front 2 or 3 times just by nose, but not quite enough to get me over that. Pete's super quick. I said yesterday, catching is one thing, passing is another. But look, we've got the 2 possibly fastest cars in the championship. Yeah. No damage, both fast, a hell of a good race. What more can you want on a Sunday morning? And Father's Day as well. So happy Father's Day to my dad. and thanks to all the marshals who are here without their sons or taking the time off, so we appreciate it all. And yeah, nice day.
Much nicer than yesterday. And well done, Chris, on second. A real championship battle now starting, coming between the two of you. And look who's third. Well done, Paul.
Thank you.
You were frustrated when I saw you yesterday morning, way back on the grid, but you're here on the podium.
Yeah, well, the qualifying was particularly difficult. It was very wet and slippery out there, and I couldn't get a good lap in at all. And I got 14th and 11th for the race today, and I was so disappointed. I was really disappointed. I managed to do quite well yesterday to get up to 8th, but it's quite a busy train, and yeah, I managed to pull it together. I took a gamble on the setup, and it worked so well for me. It's been nearly 10 years since I've had a podium, so I'm really pleased, Josh. Really pleased.
And you had a bit of a battle with Titch out at the end, made a nice move sort of towards the end there.
Oh yes, I had to defend well on the hairpin because there are no clues to where to brake, so you have to really be as late as you can. And I thought if I defended, and I'm holding him off, and I thought this is going to be a battle, but I managed to get a bit of a gap on him, and I sort of relaxed, and I was trying to catch these two, hoping they'd trip up, but they didn't. These are very fast guys, but I'm really chuffed with third. This is fantastic.
There was a point where they were battling really hard. You were starting to bring the gap down. So
I could see the gap was coming down. I thought, please trip up, but these are two very fast guys, and that looked absolutely fantastic. I'll have to watch the live stream later, but it was absolutely fantastic. That's really picked up my weekend, Josh.
Well done, Paul, on third place. And second place to Chris Deere. The winner was Pete Morgan. So great stuff from Classic Stock. Actually, the race programme continues to move on though here at Pembrey. We go sports car racing next with the Race Parts 750 Formula Championship.